Our class worked on a collaborative project in a Draw My Life form. We cover subjects from poetry, which was all the way back in December, to now, where we are studying ancient Rome. This is a large visual summarization of all the great ideas we discussed and learned about in our class in Humanities 8.
In the beginning of Humanities 8, Mr. O'Shea stood up in front of the board and said, "We're going to learn about a new unit called geography." The first part of the geography unit was about longitude and latitude. Learn that longitude is the lines that run from east to west of the Earth, while latitude is from north to south. Both of them are measured in degrees, and by putting them together, we are able to coordinate any area on the Earth. Later on in the unit, we learned about the map of Canada. There are 10 provinces and 3 territories. The 10 provinces are British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Quebec, New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, Nova Scotia, and finally Newfoundland. Last but not least, we learned about the differences between standard living and quality of life. We had many discussions about the two in class. Standard living is about having your basic needs such as food, water, clothes, shelter, and medical care. In a Venn diagram, we are able to compare the similarities and differences between the two. Quality of life is about having your basic needs such as luxuries, a nice car, a big house, a fur coat, and a Coach purse. Learning about this helped us understand that in the place we live, we have both factors, and we are much fortunate than other places in the world. Geography was an important unit because it helped us understand the world much better.
After our unit on geography, we started to learn about the ancient Olympics. For our starting point, we will travel back thousands of years to where it all began, ancient Greece around 776 BC.
The ancient Olympics were a tribute to the god Zeus. 3 of the events that were included in the games were the chariot race, boxing, and the marathon. Chariot racing involves men racing around the track up to 24 times. Boxing includes men in combat fighting with leather bands strapped to their hands. The marathon included men running up to 34 kilometers.
Now let's travel back to the present. We still have similar events. The modern Olympic Games have been split into the Summer and Winter Games. Some of the sports included are swimming, diving, gymnastics, track events, hockey, figure skating, and speed skating.
The Olympics are meant to unify the world and to celebrate the athletes and sports.
One day in class, Mr. O'Shea decided we will go over ancient civilizations. To start it off, we discussed ancient Greeks. Weeks after, we discussed ancient Rome. We have learned that Greece had a very strong foundation during the Hellenistic era. This is shown when Greece invaded Troy with their immensely large military and eventually emerged victorious. After the weeks passed, we started to learn about Rome. We learned that Rome had exquisite architectural designs, including the construction of the Ark and materials like cement. This included the Colosseum.
After ancient Greece and ancient Rome, we learned about world religions. Christianity, Islam, and Judaism are the major religions that are practiced most around the world today. All of these religions are monotheistic, and they are practiced by more than half the world's population. These religions are spread by trade all around the world. Religion has brought language along with it to connect people throughout the world. Though these religions are practiced and praised differently, they are all taught the same to treat others the way they wanted to be treated.
After the unit on world religions, our class learned about short stories with Miss Kim, a teacher in learning, and then Greek mythology for only a month.
Next unit we learned about was poetry. What is poetry? A quality of beauty and intensity of emotion regarded as characteristics of poems. Where was poetry found? Some of the first forms of poetry came from ancient Greece, but poetry is everywhere. There is no specific place for where poetry was found or created. Why was poetry created? Poetry was created as a form of art. It was made to make life less boring.
Next unit we studied was parts of speech. Traditional grammar classifies words based on 8 parts of speech. The verb, noun, pronoun, adjective, adverb, preposition, conjunction, and interjection. Each part of speech explains not what the word is, but how the word is used. The parts of speech are important so that everyone would develop the natural ear for what sounds correct and what is not. The verb represents any action, such as walking, typing, and watching. The noun represents anyone or anything, for example, a person and a rock. pronoun replaces the noun after what is told before, for example, changing from the board to him, to he, or his. The adjective gives description about any noun, for example, a well-crafted kaleidoscope, the hot sun, and the unstable arc. While the preposition is connecting, words showing the relation of a noun or a noun substitute to some other word in the sentence. For example, with, at, by, to, in, for, of, or on. The conjunction connects two word sentences and phrases together. For example, wow, I won the lottery. Oh, or I didn't know that. And no, you shouldn't have done that.
Near the end of the year, we read a book called The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. After reading the book, we watched a movie in class. The book was basically about a group called the Greasers going through life, dealing with hardship, trying to find their true identities, while doing all of it with determination. The book taught us about hardship, identity, and determination. The significance of the book was that most of the characters were around our age and we could take life lessons from the book. The class found it interesting that the author, S.E. Hinton, was only 16 when she wrote the book.
In November, the class was introduced to the Genius Hour project. It was really fun and everyone had great ideas for it. For example, some people did their project on video game designing, dancing, earthquake detection, art styles, photo editing, and much more. People really favored this project as they could research anything they wanted and also present their research in any way.
After the Genius Hour project, we started the Kiva project. One day in class, Mr. O'Shea proposed to do something exciting with the class. Our class agreed, so he took us into the computer lab. As we entered the lab, Mr. O'Shea introduced us to Kiva. Kiva is a site that provides citizens in developing countries, as well as citizens on a low budget, and developing citizens with loans of money. We thought this was a great idea. After we learned Kiva changes people's lives immensely, we searched for the person or group who deserved our money the most. In order to provide loans, we brought money daily for about 2 weeks. We decided to loan our money to 2 deserving people, some of which has already loaned back. When we receive the money back, we will find another deserving person to give our money to.
The